Hello, my name is Dylan Schism, and right now I'm a senior at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, majoring in nursing. And I'm from Cary, North Carolina. I went to Panther Creek High School and Mills Park Middle School, so I'm very familiar with the area, and I'm looking forward to sharing my experience with you guys and hopefully giving some good advice. So I'm currently majoring in nursing, and I've served as a volunteer firefighter, as an emergency medical technician, and I kind of started out, much like you guys, taking all the basic classes, and I actually didn't know I wanted to go down this path until I was ending my junior year in high school and going into my senior year. So I started out really wanting to go into computers and programming and looking very much into the computer science route of things. And so when I started taking a lot of those electives in high school, such as like computer programming one, I just really didn't enjoy and realized it wasn't for me. And that caused almost an identity crisis for myself because I had told myself all along, like, this is what I wanted to do. And when I finally got there, it wasn't what I had hoped. And so I dug around and looked into things, and I didn't really know much about the healthcare field. And then I talked with a neighbor who was a nurse, and she explained to me what she did and just grabbed my attention and passion. And I started to research that, and that is what led me to where I am today. And a lot of people don't realize what a nurse actually does because there are a lot of people in the hospital and they're all wearing scrubs. They all kind of look the same. So I'll kind of touch on three or four different major career fields that you can go through as a nurse. Starting out, you can work as a CNA or a certified nurse assistant. And with that, you're helping a lot with the activities of daily living of patients, whether that's in a hospital or in a nursing home or a assisted living facility. You're helping people, get up, walk around. You're taking vital signs. You're helping them go to the bathroom, shower, get dressed. You're assisting them with everything a normal person would do that they might not be able to because they're sick or injured. And that the salary can vary. It's anywhere between $10 to $15 an hour, depending on where you live and which facility you work at. So that's kind of a jumping off point for your career. You can get that once you turn 18 years old. It's a couple weeks certification class, and then you can take a test to get your CNA license. And that's a great thing to do while you're in school, getting your nurse, or if you're pre-med or whichever healthcare field you can. That's something you can work in throughout college, um, to help gain skills and kind of see if it's the right thing for you. And then as a nurse, as an RN, it's more than just handing out medicine and putting people on bedpans, as I say. You're a critical thinker. A lot of times you'll have a bachelor's degree or associate's degree, so you got to think. You know about all the different diseases and all the different treatments, and you're the eyes and ears of the provider. So you're giving them, IV medications. You're giving them all these different treatments or even nurse procedures that you can do, and you're seeing if those procedures that doctor recommend are working and going back to them and saying, hey, I think we might need to adjust this, and giving your recommendations to the doctor. And a lot of times the doctor listens and they say, you're the one seeing the patient all day, all shift, and they'll go with what you recommend along with their knowledge. And so it's a lot of thinking and a lot of doing. So it's a very hands-on career. You're not sitting behind a desk all day. With this, the salary can be anywhere starting around 50,000 up to $100,000, depending on where you live and if you get any extra degrees, such as a master's or a doctorate. And then, as a nurse practitioner, that is the next step up. If you want to continue your education, you can get your master's of science in nursing or your doctorate of nursing practice and become a nurse practitioner. And this, you serve as a mid-level provider, so supplementing the doctors. So you might see these in a doctor's office, in a hospital, in a urgent care, or like a minute clinic at a CVS. So you can diagnose illnesses and prescribe medications. So it's sort of like a doctor, but there are some differences in their scope of practice. And that requires, like I said, a master's or a doctorate degree and some experience as a nurse. So a lot of programs require 2 years working at the bedside as a nurse before you can go back to school. And that salary starts at around $100,000 and has the caps differ between where you live and which type of facility you work at. And another opportunity is becoming a nurse anesthetist or a CRNA. And this, you act as almost an anesthesiologist. You're helping administer the sedation before surgeries and helping put them to sleep and managing their airway during the surgery and monitoring all their vital signs. And this now requires a doctorate degree in nursing. So you have to get your doctorate in nursing practice after having a minimum of 2 years critical care experience. So that's working in an ICU. And from there, that salary starts about $150,000 a year, and you can make upwards of $400,000 a year, depending on where you work. So when I started working as soon as I was legally able to, at 15 years old, I started as a lifeguard at my neighborhood pool. I think unconsciously that kind of started that trend of going towards healthcare, because as a lifeguard, you start out with basic first aid skills and then combine it with water rescue. And being able to put that into practice, I'm like, I like this, And so that just sparked my interest, in the back of my head. And so if you can do that, I highly recommend it. You can take a certification class and work just during the summers so you have your school years free. Or you can find, an indoor pool and work all year round if you're interested. And it's very accessible to, everyone of all types. So I recommend it if you're interested in the medical stuff, you can take the class, get some of that basic knowledge. And then going to the volunteer firefighter side, in my junior year, beginning of the junior year, I saw a kind of advert on the morning announcements at school on the televisions about becoming a junior firefighter using the Explorer program in the town of Morrisville. And that the Explorer program is for high schoolers aged 14 to 18 to get experience in the fire service career field. And multiple departments in our area have it. I believe town of Apex has one, town of Morrisville has one, and the city of Raleigh has one. So multiple departments in the area have this program. And what you do, you go to the firehouse, you have a uniform that you wear, you're with the actual firefighters, and they're training you in the skills that they use every day. And it's very hands-on. You're doing the skills. You're using, the fire hoses. You're doing the emergency medical care. They're teaching all you the skill and mentoring you. And you also work shifts on the fire trucks. You're riding and going on the same emergency calls that they're going on. And that is what really sparked my interest in the medical field, is seeing all of these emergencies and getting the help out on them. And that is what made me say, this is for me. This is what I want to do. And now I transitioned from a junior member to a full, adult volunteer member, and got to take more advanced certifications where I earned my emergency medical technician license. And I now currently volunteer that at school in Tennessee on a rescue squad, where I continue to respond to emergencies when I'm on shift from all types, from people having heart attacks, strokes, that they're having trouble breathing, if they've been in a car accident, all types of things that you get to experience and see. And sometimes it may not be an emergency, but it's just someone that needs help, that you get to be there for them and be that person where they don't know where else to go. You're the one that's there for them. And as a nurse, that experience has been paramount to everything. Just interacting with patients, starting from a younger age, having that experience has been a huge help. Just being comfortable around people and touching people, being able to perform some of the basic procedures that you get to do. And now I currently work in the emergency room at a hospital in Knoxville, Tennessee, as a emergency technician, where I'm working side by side with nurses and doctors and respiratory therapists to provide care in the hospital setting now. Like I said, I took a programming class and figured out that's not for me. And so you can take a programming class and realize that might be for you, it might not be. Just expand your interest and take all the different kinds of things that you can so you can find what you're really interested in. And looking at nursing programs in the collegiate level, there are two routes you can take. One route is going through a community college, such as Wake Tech. You can get your associate's degree in nursing, or you could go through a 4-year program, such as Tennessee or University of North Carolina or Eastern Carolina University, and get your bachelor's of science in nursing, which is what I'm working towards right now. And that's a 4-year program. And you get more of a well-rounded science background behind your nursing skills and about the theory behind everything, where the associate's degree in nursing is more focused on the nursing aspect. And whether you go your associate's degree or your bachelor's degree, you both end up at the same place of having your registered nurse license. At the end, you both take the same test, the NCLEX, which is the National Licensure Exam for nurses. So you both end up at the same place, you just go different routes. But a lot of the bigger hospitals, such as Wake Med, Duke, or UNC, they prefer to hire bachelor's prepared nurses due to their licensure that the hospitals have and their accreditations, and makes them look better. So a lot of times if you go for your associate's degree and you get hired at a bigger hospital, you'll sign a contract that saying you'll get your bachelor's degree within 5 or so years. And a lot of hospitals will pay for you to go back to school and get a bachelor's degree. And then once you have that, you can further go up the chain and get a master's or a doctorate degree in a specialty field, such as become like a nurse practitioner or a nurse anesthetist, and further expand your scope and your salary. Yeah, the classes you take, especially on the bachelor's side of things, which is what I've gone through, your first 2 years of the program will be your core science classes. You're taking your chemistry, your organic chemistry, biology, anatomy, and physiology, which I found fascinating. Just learning more and more about the human body and how it works. It just blew my mind when I learned about it, especially learning about the heart and how complex such one organ is that's always working every day of your life, every second of it. After those 2 years, you then transition into your nursing classes. And that's where you begin a lot of the hands-on learning that nursing entails. And that's something I love about going to school. I look forward to the classes every day because I'm getting to work hands-on in either a simulation lab that we have with high fidelity mannequins that can emulate every aspect of human life. They can sweat, they can blink, speak to you, they bleed. You can give them medications. They're fantastic pieces of technology that we get to practice our skills on, like almost a real patient. And whereas other days you'll be, in an actual hospital with a small group of students, around 8, with one instructor, and you're working, shoulder to shoulder with an actual nurse, taking care and doing skills you've learned on real patients. So you get that clinical hands-on learning in different units throughout the hospital. I've rotated on an orthopedic floor so far, a pulmonary floor, and along within a skilled nursing facility as well. So you get a lot of hands-on education along with the classroom education that you get learning about different diseases and how those diseases affect the body and how you can treat that. I've taken pharmacology classes, learning about every type of medication you can think of and like the side effects of all the medications. It's just a wealth of knowledge you get to learn, and it's fascinating. And being a nurse or being a nursing student during these times, during this pandemic, you get to see the best of everyone. Everyone's working together, whether it's, the nurses, the doctors, down to the environmental services and housekeepers. Everyone's there together in the hospital. And there's such a wide variety of career fields that a lot of people don't realize that are having to work during this. And, everyone's bonded together by this experience, and you've really gotten to see the best of everyone. So overall, I've worked in the medical field for about 4 years now, starting out as an EMT. And I can think back to with all my patients, a lot of the ones that really stick out to me aren't the ones that are necessarily having an emergency, but the ones that need help. May not be medical care, but they don't know who else to call besides 911. And we show up whether it's an emergency or not. And so it could be someone who's fallen and they just need help getting up. And then you can realize, hey, do you need something else that maybe that we cannot provide, but we can connect you with a proper resource, such as, home health care or like Meals on Wheels, or so you sort of serve as a social worker in those situations, and this connecting people with resources that they don't know are out there or they don't know how to reach. But there's also situations where you do get to save a life, and that is one of the most rewarding things that I've ever gotten to experience. Having been that impact between life and death and seeing the direct impact of my actions on that person have made everything worth it in the past. Um, that the one intervention, that just seeing the look in their eyes, that when you've helped them and they might not be able to breathe, and you can give them medications and provide treatments, and then when they're able to breathe again, the relief on their face, you can see it, and that is just so rewarding. I say this reach out to there are a lot of programs, especially here in Wake County. Like I said, the Morrisville, Town of Apex, and City of Raleigh fire departments all have junior programs that you can participate in as soon as your freshman year of high school, and getting that hands-on training. And Wake County EMS, they have an EMS club. They meet once a month, and you're working with actual paramedics and EMTs, learning these skills and practicing them. And then you get to do ride-alongs with them as well. And that is a great opportunity. It's free. All these programs don't cost anything. They just need someone who's willing to show up and put in a good attitude. And in school, I say take all the classes you can, challenge yourself, take AP classes and honors classes. That'll make yourself really stand out, because a lot of the nursing programs here in North Carolina or out of state they're competitive. They're looking for the best of the best to provide care for these patients. And say make yourself well versed. I said take a variety of classes to expand your knowledge, or go out watch. There are a lot of documentaries too, and a lot of TV shows that you can watch to kind of get a kind of a outside look at what goes on inside of a hospital or an ambulance. I'll just add that it does take, you do have to have some mental toughness for this career, because you will see people that are hurt and sick, and you need to be able to handle that. It's not easy at sometimes, so you got to have some introspection and look at that part of things.